responsible for the coordination with Japanese authorities in relation to the anti-counterfeiting issues. And as I talked about a few minutes ago, we are coordinator of anti-counterfeiting issues in Japanese government. You can see the kind of character. This is our character, and you can see the on the YouTube very quickly. And at the bottom of this slide, you can see the major brand holders of Japan. So they are all interested in this field. The context is automobile parts, and some other sectors are also affected by this problem. So this is the background why the technology. And also secondly, I think in other countries as well, in Japan there is increasing small quantity imports coming in. So we give down some to industries, and especially small and medium-sized companies, technologies to counter the counterfeiting problem. And each of those technologies has its advantage. So starting from this slide, I'm just showing the example of technologies, so I just skipping. And thirdly, effectiveness is not proven for the actors of the market. Next slide, please. Could you turn on next slide? Okay. And on the part of users as well, there are three challenges we think. One is that there is a technological needs. Their technological needs are very diverse, and it is very difficult to focus on the technology. And also, this is very a major problem, I think. Secondly, this management's lack of understanding, because they don't understand the importance of anti-counterfeiting measures, taking those measures. It is very difficult for them to manage to get the funds or budgets to address this issue. How effective those AI-based technologies, or in which aspects it is applied. Cost of services which uses AI. And lastly, again, lack of awareness on importance of anti-counterfeiting on the part of company management. I prepared this slide. I checked out the past surveys and found some example. And on the left-hand side, there is another image. And this one is used for the kind of a toy. It's a kind of a doll, but it's very expensive and technology in the field of anti-counterfeiting. So if you use easily implementable measures, technology is built so that even small and medium-sized enterprises can use some technologies to protect their intellectual property rights.
How can we have a unified or a harmonized way of tracing?
Of concerted efforts by using technology. One is semiconductor industries, I think. They have a kind of they try to set a standard to fight technical standard to fight against.
Is Boniface Kashoka from the legal industry. My question comes to the small upcoming businesses that you have in Japan. So how are you able to pull resources and support them in Japan for us to have a view? These are companies that cannot invest in IP protection. So how are you able to pull resources and how are you able to help them fight counterfeits in Japan?
Thank you. And this is my guess, but I think because it's very much a high-end product, you can pay the cost of the solution. So we are not supporting any product from the government side, but they're just making a private deal to use it as to protect their brand. So their brand image is very important for the Japanese sake makers.
When it comes to fighting counterfeiting, what are the challenges, legal challenges, and how can they be mitigated? Thank you.
I don't know if I understand it correctly, but you are talking about the legal challenges. As far as I know, in this field, for example, if you apply any solutions to any solution which use blockchain to protect your intellectual property, I think there's no legal challenges as far as I know. But maybe I'm misunderstanding your question. So could you clarify more? What kind of legal challenges do you think there could be by using this?
What I'm trying to ask if does it affect the users? Yes.
Okay, so for example, this blockchain technology is not related to, for example, personal information, private information of users. So I don't think in this regard there's any problem in this field regulation, but still no specific legislation existing legislation.
This is what we see as a general backdrop for digital product. So that was the one end, that was the authenticity. The second hand is about the traceability, and there is open to custom authorities who can also collect information on the product and shipments in advance in order to green lane the product for the entry into the EU.
Thank you, Mr. Nicholas, for that presentation, and sorry for the hiccups that we had before we started.
Dedicated purchases and being capable of treating the end product, its life cycle safely. So for that, we are in the process of creating in the EU what we call the digital product passport, which have been there for centuries, are still very valid to this day. And as much as we wish to employ new technology to have better data and better.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'll now invite Mr. Hara to make his final remarks as we end up this
event scheduled on 20th of this month, because I'm very interested in the progress which is happening at EUIDO. So, and my final comment is that we try to see the progress of technology in this field, so that we can apply those technologies more to the wider range of products, so that we can protect the IP from the infringing activities.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Mr. Nicholas, your final.
Cybersecurity, national security, this balancing act that we are mentioning. We believe that we need to continue mapping the evolving regulatory environment and to enable this trade. And so what we do is that we try to create the rules that determine the conditions for the cross-border transfer of goods and of services. Piotr and Jarek that have been working on this are working very hard on highlighting the issues that you guys face in trying to cooperation efforts are discussing how to meet these growing challenges. Just to say a few quick words about the
David, I want you to say something about e-commerce and online counterfeiting and the challenges that are posed in the process and what are the possible solutions. Or
presentation. Okay.
Thank you.
Right. Just bear with me. Chinese manufacturers who are unrestrained. We have marketplaces that don't self-regulate. We have national marketplace regulations which are very weak. We have technology providers. In the context of all that, we have huge global demand for counterfeits. In this context of weak self-regulation and weak imposed regulations.
And it is actually, most marketplaces do not have or do not manage their, or cannot be able to control the trade, and others actually do not even care. Others have very weak market regulations. So if I have Angelique online, I can give. Angelique, are you online? If she's not there, then I can give this time for question and answer session, and I'm going to give maybe 2 questions to the participants who can give questions to Xavier and David.
What trade is counterfeited? How do you correct that data, and what is the correct figure in terms of the estimated figure of counterfeit? And the second question is on empowering the consumer to control their consumption in terms of the online marketplaces.
Okay, someone else might be better placed to answer these types of questions than me.
Thank you. Thank you, Xavier. Maybe we can.
Thank you, Javier and David, for the presentation. I'm Lorna Mbatia from CFL Advocates. So, David, you painted a very dire picture at the very end. And it's true. Because when it comes to even goods originating from China, we find that has been one of the challenges in the war against counterfeits. But also it's driven by us. Because if we tell someone, if you're going to get someone to manufacture goods for us and we say we want a counterfeit product, I mean, it's driven by supply and demand. So again, consumer awareness is something that's important. But also what I've observed, for the online marketplaces, it's not in their interest, technically, to deal with counterfeits because they benefit from increased volumes through their site. So what we've done as a law firm and working with different brand owners is creating awareness. So we've been partnering with a lot of online marketplaces and creating awareness about our clients' products, but also more importantly to make them feel the pinch. Because for example, if you file a lawsuit, I know not everyone would want to do that because of the cost implication, but when that is done, then they have to weigh, their options. Is it making sense to keep listing these counterfeit products if it will cost us in terms of legal fees, it will cost us in terms of even the brand reputation, because of course, sometimes some sites are known to have counterfeit products. So we found for us that's one of the strategies. But basically even just having those conversations, because for us At the end of the day, if there are fewer fake products, then it means even consumers are protected, brand owners benefit from that arrangement as well. So what we've been doing as one of our strategies is just trying to have collaboration agreements and creating awareness with the online marketplaces locally to try and make sure that there are no fake products that are being listed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Counterfeits originate from China, Hong Kong. Your research, Dr. Shepard, did it inform you of the role of the authorities, the government? Because at that rate, of course, that's not an accidental economic initiative, or it's not something that's done on the side. It's a large-sized industry. What is the role of the local government or the country government or the authorities in this kind of counterfeit production and generation? What did your research inform you about that issue? Thank you. Pronounced 75%. That's a huge figure of counterfeit production. What is the role of the government? Are they abetting it? Are they assisting in combating it? What did your research inform you?
Okay. So in my view, we'll shut them down for a week, and a week later these factories will open up again. The problem that China has is it earns so much money out of counterfeit goods. Over 350 billion. The social impacts in China will be very, very significant. So it has a huge problem to deal with. And at the moment, what it's doing in effect is exporting that problem. We do need the marketplaces to be more thoroughly regulated. In essence, at the moment, they are unregulated.
Center of Technology Studies. There has always been this issue that e-commerce and digital space is not regulated, but it is moving very fast. So what is preventing governments from enacting laws that can control this space? I think you can direct it to any of the...
Yeah, anyone, David? Or...
Has just said, you know, we mentioned the Digital Services Act, there's the Digital Markets Act, there's a whole bunch of regulation that is taking place, and I want to underscore what he said as well, that I mean, first of all, I want to say that the Digital Service Act, the Digital Markets Act, the Data Governance Act, all of these things that are happening in the European Union are extremely useful at regulating different aspects of this. I do not think that their ultimate goal is to regulate or illicit trade. What I would call for in this space is for global discussions that bring together the policymakers that are set to put their legislation on licit trade to talk to those that are looking at illicit trade and seeing the extent to which new regulations might be needed or the extent to which we can rely on something that we do in the licit trade side as well, which is, you know, voluntary mechanisms for companies, because it is ultimately, or it can be ultimately, in the interest of companies to try and sign up to these sort of voluntary mechanisms to reduce the amount of illicit trade that's going. But I think that all of this has to be done, as David said, globally and in the context of involving different policy circles. Thank you.
So it needs to be a global effort, and there are parallels in other areas of economic crime. For example, in anti-money laundering, there are international anti-money laundering requirements to put anti-money laundering measures into place, anti-money laundering laws, and in turn, those anti-money laundering laws regulate particularly the banks and the finance sector. So that framework is counterfeiting. So there should be a framework of this is what the expectations of governments are in terms of tackling counterfeits. And then underneath that is the expectations of what the governments ought to do in terms of putting laws and regulations in place to control the trade, and in particular control the...
informative. I admit that I've learned quite a lot from the session, and I also hope the participants have learned 1, 2, 3. And just to close the session, and I would like to give ourselves a challenge as participants and the panelists, that we need to really fight this illicit trade. And the most common word that was used during the discussion was collaboration across the world. The countries need to open up and stop existing like silos, and know that this is indeed a threat to our well-being and our economies. And I want to close at that. My name is Weldon Sige. I'm a Principal ICT Officer, and I have close to 15 years experience of enforcement as well. And I want to thank you everyone for participating in this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.